I'm Merritt Maxim, Vice President and Research Director at Forrester Research, where I lead a team of analysts who cover, among other things, identity and access management, and I manage and drive the research agenda and work with clients on those topics. Users can be a source of frustration or pushback, particularly because a lot of zero trust things may involve, not significant, but could have changes on how users actually interact and do their jobs. And wherever there's a potential change to their workflow that may affect your productivity, you're likely going to get some pushback on that. So this is where things like overall kind of security awareness and training initiatives can be very helpful. Most companies are already doing this already, whether it's mandated for compliance reasons or just as part of ongoing security best practices, whether it's just an annual attestation or online training. And many of those training modules increasingly have zero trust as kind of part of the curriculum there. So there's a chance to start to educate the users. But then in parallel is also back to this idea of trust, that making them aware that, again, this is not being done purely for technology's sake, that there is ultimately benefits to the organization and to you as a user that are going to help you in the long run as well, and phrasing it again in business terms that they can understand. I think that becomes very important. And I think also from a user perspective, the good news is that a lot of the tools that a user might now have to use as part of their company's journey to zero trust are increasingly easier to use and manage. And again, I'll use multi-factor authentication as a perfect example. A decade ago, multi-factor authentication was really a dedicated hardware token that you had to carry around with you. If you left it in your car, you left it at home, then you didn't have an issue. Now it's an app on your smartphone, right? Everyone has a smartphone with them. If it's push-based authentication, it's really just a click one button on the app and you're in. So the user experience is actually quite simple. And the other benefit is users are increasingly experiencing multi-factor authentication maybe in other parts of their personal life, whether it's for their bank or other things. So their willingness to use those kinds of tools is much stronger, and that does give you the ability to now say, okay, we're going to switch to multi-factor authentication using a mobile app. If you were going to do that 5 or 6 years ago, you might have had a lot more user pushback. Now I think, at least here in the US, users are more confident and familiar with that technology, and so their willingness to go along with it is easier. So I think that's one way to build more support within users. Your next group was the IT group. I think some of the same things apply there. You may have in particular amount of awareness. Just because they're in IT doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to know everything or know much of anything about zero trust for that model. So explaining to them how certain zero trust capabilities are going to help them better in their job. And I think one of the things to think about from an IT perspective is the going to zero trust implies kind of a push towards standardization and consistency. So if you now have kind of consistent mechanisms by which you say configure workloads for the cloud, and those are documented, that actually is going to make the administrator's life easier as they deploy more cloud workloads, but it's also going to give you better visibility from an audit perspective as well, so that you'll be hopefully better able to identify a misconfiguration at the same time. So if someone, if you do a scan and you see that something is configured differently, you'll know right away that that's something wrong. And so it gives you the ability now to hopefully protect those misconfigurations from persisting, and that's going to improve your overall security posture. And I think that the other thing that from the IT perspective, and they're usually on board with this, is a chance to get involved with some new and exciting technologies that they may not previously have had much experience with. If you look on the network side, firewalls have been around for a while, but there's a lot of interesting stuff in the zero trust space around say micro-segmentation, network segmentation, things like that, a network engineer who may have been doing this for decades and may know routers and switches and firewalls are well, this is a chance for them to maybe learn some new skill and get involved with some new technology, and that could be kind of an exciting kind of career professional development opportunity for them. So that's I think another benefit that Zero Trust brings to the table. Zero Trust is ultimately about helping better protect data from breaches, helping build strong relationship with customers, and ultimately allowing you to potentially even differentiate yourselves in the marketplace because you've got a stronger handle on your online network and how to secure things. And in parallel to that, and this has been kind of hard to document, but there is a argument to be made that if you've got a strong online security model, it does give you better agility in the marketplace, and there's better agility to react to changes or enter new markets or develop new products and services. And this is something that we see in our surveys quite frequently in terms of one of the major concerns from non-IT business leaders is agility or lack of agility as a potential hinder to their overall growth objectives. And so if you do have a good underlying security model, as I said, this now gives you the confidence to now tell your management, okay, yes, it's okay to launch new product service because we're following Zero Trust principles. We've got a good handle on it, and the risk to the business if this service gets breached is quite low. So we're okay going ahead with that. And that's a different mindset. But Zero Trust has the potential to enable that, and that's something that business leaders should absolutely be trying to take advantage of as much as possible.
Please subscribe and check out more content from us.